So last week was the notorious Naomi Watts interview, so that went out and that's available on the podcast should you still wish to hear it. That, of course, was pertaining to Diana, which is, I guess, the most talked about movie of the week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about it. So
I mean, posted.
Just in case anybody doesn't know, so it's basically a sort of speculative piece about Diana's relationship, in inverted commas, with Hasnat Khan, heart surgeon.
I don't think you need to put that in inverted commas.
No, but okay, her relationship with Hasnat Khan, which involves a certain degree of speculation, because a lot of the movie involves conversations to which no one was party other than the two main players. Anyway, here's a clip before we discuss the film. This is fairly self-explanatory.
So hearts can't actually be broken?
A heart can receive a shock so violent it never recovers.
Yes, but can they actually break?
My colleagues might disagree, but I believe, for instance, that Maria Callas died of a broken heart.
You don't like my food?
Oh, no, it's lovely. You're obviously a very accomplished cook.
Come on. What kind of food do you really like?
You couldn't make me a hamburger, could you?
I'm not sure you can actually make hamburgers.
Oh, dear.
I could send out for one.
So,
you almost don't need to say anymore.
I know, Naomi Watts and Naveen Andrews. Now, look, here's the problem. If you judge by that clip, okay, that will give you the sense that what this was rollickingly terrible from beginning to end. In a kind of one-star review, mighty, meaty kicking, let's just go and see how bad it can possibly be. And indeed, there have been several reviews that have gone down that line, that have just... And I think that goes some way toward explaining why there was an anxiety in the air over the conversation last week, because I think that there was an expectation that the movie would be met with hostility. The worst thing about it is it's nothing like that interesting. It is just, for the main, with a couple of exceptions, that conversation being the absolute highlight, unbelievably boringly well-behaved and dull. It's the kind of movie that has you longing for the absolute idiocy of that television movie William and Kate, which involved him, yomping into the moat when she's in a punt and and all that sort of stuff.
Did you see that?
Yeah, of course I saw it.
Why did you see
Because it
that?
was brilliant. It was laugh out loud funny. It also lacks any of the kind of chubby insights of the Karen Carpenter story, which appears to incidentally be on hard rotation on satellite TV right now. I know this because John Ronson was alerted to it on Twitter. We all got to go back and watch that again. What it is just, it's so painfully aware of treading carefully. In that interview, you used the phrase, it's interesting we're still treading on eggshells. You meant it about the discussion about Diana, but the film feels like it is treading on eggshells and then some. It's not good enough to simply say it's a one-star film, because there's something about a one-star film and something about a five-star film. It's worse. It's a two-star movie. Remember that famous movie? What do you think of the movie? It's better than good. It's mediocre. This is it's just below par. It's below par in a really sort of plodding Hallmark television kind of way. Naomi Watts has got all the head tilts and the hair pieces and the hairdos and the nose appliances and all that stuff, but she still looks like Naomi Watts being done. And that, in a way, is a central problem, because if you think about a film like Nixon, in which you say, okay, well, Anthony Hopkins didn't look anything like Nixon, but he had the mannerisms, right? That's absolutely true. And, when you watch The Queen, you don't think, what? That's really not what The Queen looks like, because it doesn't. What you think is that's a really, really terrific performance from a brilliant actress. But more importantly, you believe in the stuff around it. When I was watching the film, I was trying to think, why did they make this? And the only reason I can think is that they think that somehow it would function as a prequel to The Queen. That somehow this is the events leading up to The Queen, and The Queen is, and somehow they'll make a kind of an awards-courting two-piece. There is no other explanation. I mean, Oliver Hirschberg, who made Downfall, is a proper director. Naomi Watts is an intelligent and proper actress who I think gives it her very best shot. But at no point do you believe you're watching anything other than a made-for-TV, film of the week. And this sort of saccharine, let's just tread very gently around everything. Everything she says sounds like it's taken directly from the pages of Hello magazine. I mean, Stephen Jeffries, the screenwriter, is no Peter Morgan. I mean, very few people are Peter Morgan. But, I had reservations about the cinematic qualities of The Queen, which, of course, did start life as a TV movie and then managed to make it into cinemas because people responded so well to it. And, the fact of the matter is, this is nothing but a great, big, schmaltzy meringue of a TV movie. And it would be one thing to be able to be really cross and really outraged and really offended. I mean, you actually said that during a part of it, you were embarrassed.
Yeah, for about the first half an hour, 40 minutes, it was embarrassing.
And then...
Well, it's not. I agree. It's a 2-star movie. I don't think it's not without merit. I think some of the bits where...
I think it's largely without merit.
Well, I think some of the sequences where her life has descended into madness with the paparazzi, I think, are quite well done. However, it is. I kept on thinking of you saying, the Queen wasn't cinematic. You think, well, this feels like a Hallmark Channel 5.
Exactly.
And I think they made. I mean, just on the way she looks. She said in the interview last week, I don't look anything like Diana, but there's right at the very beginning of the movie. It's shot. It's the bit leading up to she's in Paris.
Oh yes, the opening
she's
shot.
in the hotel room
from behind.
Yeah, and so they shoot her from behind, so you can't actually see her face. She goes into the bathroom. She does some bathrooming things, and then she comes out, and the camera
very deliberately doesn't reveal her face. Yes,
I think, this is going to be good. This is going to be interesting. And they're deliberately building up the suspense. What does she look like?
Yeah.
We still don't see. Then it cuts to her meeting some crowds outside, and she's still being shot from behind. Yeah. And then she turns. Here's the big reveal, and everybody goes, "Well, she looks nothing like that." And it does matter because more than Michael Sheen or more than Anthony Hopkins, because she's this iconic image of the last 100 years.
But it also it matters because it shows you that the rest of the drama isn't working. And that's the point. A performance is only as good as the film that it's in. And in the case of, Michael Sheen doesn't look like Tony Blair, but you believe he's Tony Blair partly because it's a brilliant performance, but partly because the drama is working around him. And I know I was down on the Queen, but frankly, you put the Queen next to this and it is Citizen Kane. However, I don't want people to be misled by thinking it's one of those, it's so terrible, let's go see what all the fuss is about. It's not. It's worse than that. It's just terribly boring and well-behaved. Well-behaved in that kind of... And the phrase that you used, and this is why it was so strange, treading on eggshells. It felt like a film that was tiptoeing around its subject. It felt like a film that was extemporising in all the wrong places. And yet, oddly, sort of, and that thing about do you have permission to film outside those gates... It was weird because the whole film seemed to be saying we don't want to bother anybody. We don't want to say you could have it on in the background, as you say, Channel 5, 2:30 on a Sunday afternoon, and nobody would notice. Although occasionally you'd look up and go, "Oh, Naomi Watts has got a new wig on." It's very wiggy.
It is, and there's a bit
very wiggy.
So she doesn't look like Diana, and then there's a sequence where she's disguising herself to go out with Hasnat Khan, and she puts on a wig, and you go, "Well, you really don't look like her now. You just really look like Naomi Watts with 2 wigs on."
Yeah, and I don't think. I know that some people were expecting a sort of hideous rant. You're not going to get one. It's really not worth it.